What's up, guys? This is Carson from Operation Recall. I'm here with Chris Scott, who just funded his Kickstarter. So number one, go check that out. World War Hell. It's crazy, like zombies, World War II, awesome O-ring, but like updated with more articulation and more complex paint apps. It's a really cool line. Check it out. Also sculpted by the guy that I'm working with, Carter the Conqueror, on Operation.
Yes, sir.
He's amazing. Check out James Carter the Conqueror on Instagram. But Chris is here to pick up his pre-production portfolio for Dark Reapers, because Chris basically is Dark Reapers. So he had a paintball outfit that was incredible. You can see it right here. So anyway, he sent this in, and we got a couple hundred submissions for Operation Recall. And we sat down with Mark Pennington, Ron Rudat, and Kirk Bazigian, and we picked the top 16 that we wanted to work on. So then it was time to get to work. So Ron Rudat did his ideation, his initial sketches, and he came up with different designs. And what you'll end up finding is that this was so cool that we ended up staying really close to this. But that doesn't mean that you start out not thinking about doing different things. And I mean, this is very Battle Android Trooper to me.
Very cool.
This is very Frag Viper to me. You know, really cool. This is kind of Snow Serpent. Yes, sir. So some of these things, some of these elements might actually make it into later figures. I've taken one of these head sculpts. I'm not going to spoil that, but I've asked one of these designs to be incorporated into one of our year 2 figures. So once we got done with all the ideation, Kirk Bazigian and I sat down and reviewed everything, probably 30 minutes, and talked about everything that we loved, everything that we wanted to keep. And with Kirk Bazigian, it's always a combination of elements. So everything that you see that's redlined are the elements that Kirk wanted to keep, right? So you just go through all the different designs, and there's additional context notes in there for what we wanted to keep or what we wanted to modify. And then I like to provide a bunch of photo reference for the designer, and then eventually that'll be provided to the sculptor as well. Chad LaForce had provided this amazing logo with his Cadavers concept that was also selected, and that became our kind of icon of the bad guys, Orthrus. So Chris went out of his way to cut new body armor and then spray that. And did you see in the group where I'm using the overspray from when you did that project as the box decoration for the mail order figure for year 1, the secret surprise 20th mail order figure. All right, so this is the revised line art for the figure. So this is when Ron Rudat has finalized what Dark Reapers is going to look like. This is a figure sculpture sheet. This is the original figure sculpture sheet that Ron Rudat created so that Bill Merkline would know how to sculpt it. This is a 1-to-1 scale for the 2-ups that we sculpt. So this is the accessory sculpture sheet, kind of an engineering drawing showing it from the different sides. And this is what Mark Jerwig used to model the weaponry. This is a kickoff letter to Bill Merkline, along with a dossier by Larry Hama. Now, these are copies, obviously, because I sent them off to Bill Merkline. And you can see all the notes, right, that we've added here. And this is me providing photography to the sculptor to make sure we get certain details. So I've been able to have some fun putting in little tidbits too. So I was doing research on shin pads. I wanted to do something unique and different. So I got these climbing shin pads that they use to climb over objects, and they turned out really well on the model.
They really did.
So, you know, doing a bunch of searching inspiration of current military stuff and working that in for the sculpture sheets. These are color studies. So Ron Rudat was considering different colors that we might utilize for the character. And we ended up taking this one, but shifting it from an orange to a red. So that's primarily where we ended up. And then he creates something called presentation artwork. So this is his last opportunity to present this to management, to get sign off, to go through into engineering the toy. So that's a big moment. And again, this is a new kickoff packet to Ed Morrill. Ed Morrill was in charge of packaging from 1969 and 1989. So he gets the final art with the revised colors. He gets the dossier by Larry, and he gets a kickoff letter like everybody else. And then he gets the technicals. So using the engineering drawings, laying them out at scale on the package. Now we know we have this space to play with. And that's different for every figure. And you want to construct your painting in such a way that it maximizes the space that you have. So then it's up to Ed Morrill to create a sketch that's going to utilize that space best. All right, so then he gets the colored sculpture sheets, he gets his colored accessory sheets, and then this is what we give him for reference for the painting. So Ed Morrill came up with this sketch, and then I 3D printed the accessories and did some Photoshop and ended up replacing the 3D prints with actual 3D renders for clarity, cutting out his body armor and putting that in there. And this is all the photo reference for the package artist, which is Doug Hart, who did paintings for Hasbro from 1984 to 1999. So we're going to add a couple more things into this. Let's come over here.
Okay.
So this is the final Dark Reapers package painting, already signed by Doug. We're gonna put that in your packet. And then one last thing that I wanted to do, everything that I just showed you guys in that portfolio is a tremendous amount of work, right? But I wanted to document it and let you guys that buy the figures enjoy it too. So come check this out. For every one of these figures, you're gonna have a little 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch folder hidden behind the figure that blends in with the color background behind the figure. Think of this like CD liner notes. When you used to get a record and then you sit in your car and you'd read through the liner notes and say, all right, who was the musician? What are the lyrics? That's fun, right? You can see we've done these already for every single figure. There is so much creative energy that has gone into this project. So just for Dark Reapers, you'll see all the ideation from Ron, then you'll see all the color studies, you'll see the figure sculpture sheet, the accessory sculpture sheets, and then the presentation art. And then when you flip it over, you got the painting on a mini poster. And so this is included free with every figure. And I hope that it extends the joy of opening that product. You pull the product out, you play with it, you set it down next to it, and you look at, oh my God, Ron did this, Ron did that, Ron did that. And then you flip it over, oh, Doug Hart did that. So I want to give credit where credit's due and show the process. So hope you enjoy it, brother. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, you guys go check out War Hell, still funding on Kickstarter. And if you want to get in on Operation Recall, it closes on July 4th on BackerKit. So please go support that too. Proud of you, man.
Legends of a time in the back to see the day for you.